Someone getting the water? Or? Govinda, Govinda. Jai Rata Matovo Kunja Bihari. Rata Matava Kunja Bihari. Hey, concentrate. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari. Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari. Jaya Radha Matava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Matava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Hey, hey, Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari. Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari. Jaya Radha Matava Kunja Bihari. Hey Radha Matava Kunja Bihari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paragrajikacharya Ashtotala Satashishiman, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki, Anantakoti Vaishnava Brindi Ki, Grantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki, Nitai Go Premanande, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 1. Chapter entitled The Manus, Administrators of the Universe, text number 8. Sunandayam Varshishatam Padaikena Bhuvam Sprishan Tapyamanastapogoram Idam Anvaha Bharata Sunandayam Varshishatam Padaikena Bhuvam Sprishan Tapyamanastapogoram Idam Anvaha Bharata Sunandayam Varshishatam Padaikena Bhuvam Sprishan Tapyamanastapogoram Idam Anvaha Bharata. Someone else? Sunandayam. On the bank of the river, Sunanda. Avashishitam. For 100 years. Pada ekana. On one leg. Bhuvam, the earth. Sprishan, touching. Tapyamana, he performed austerities. Tapa, austerities. Agodam, very severe. Idam, the following. Anvaha, and spoke. Bharata, O scion of Bharata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. O scion of Bharata, After Swayambhuv Manu had thus entered the forest with his wife, he stood on one leg on the bank of the river Sunanda. And in this way, with only one leg touching the earth, he performed great austerities for 100 years. While performing these austerities, he spoke as follows. Translation responsively. O Scion of Bharata, after Swayambhuv Manu had thus entered the forest with his wife, he stood on one leg on the bank of the river Sunanda. And in this way, with only one leg touching the earth, he performed great austerities for 100 years. While performing these austerities, he spoke as follows. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that the word anvaha means that he chanted or murmured to himself, not that he lectured to anyone. Amagyantimanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, we've just started the 8th canto, maybe a few days ago, I think. Last time I gave class here a couple of weeks ago, it was 7th canto. So now we're changing. So whenever a canto finishes or begins, it's very auspicious, and it's Mangala. Like Mangala Arti. We call it Mangala Arti. Why do we call it Mangala Arti? Because it's auspicious. Because if you come to it, your life becomes auspicious, your day becomes auspicious. Prabhupada says. This is like the beginning of the day. So Mangalarti makes everything auspicious for the rest of the day. It makes your day easier to come. So it's called Mangala. So Mangala means auspicious. So the Mangala Arati is the way that we begin the day so that everything in our life becomes auspicious. And just like when we begin a new canto or finish another canto, that's also considered auspicious. It is the sandhya, the meeting place between the two cantos. So we're just beginning the 8th canto. The Bhagavatam, if you go back to Canto 2, it describes there are 10 subject matters for the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One of the subject matters is the Manvantaras. Manvantaras means the Manus. It's an important subject matter. For a Purana, because the Bhagavatam is a Purana, it's one of the 18 major Puranas. It is called the Bhagavat Purana, or we call it Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. It's the most important of all the Vedic literatures, but the Bhagavatam is a Purana, and for a Shastra, a book to be considered to be a Purana, it has to have certain criteria. And one of the criteria is there must be genealogical tables of the universe. In other words, how things developed throughout the universe. Our version of history is much different to the modern education system or the modern scientific system. You know, I mean, they still say on the radio and everything, you know, they still say, oh, you know, we all came from apes, or we all came from fish, you know. Your great-great-great-grandmother was a fish, and then you changed. So this is the way we're taught. Like that. But the Bhagavatam speaks very differently. It goes back millions of years, just like tomorrow is a very auspicious day. What is tomorrow? Nrsimha Chaturdasi. The lion will come out of the pillar tomorrow. When did that happen? Yeah, millions of years ago. Millions of years ago. Tomorrow is someone's birthday who appeared millions of years ago. That's the way we see history. We don't see it the way the modern world. Although it's interesting, the modern educational system, they keep adjusting and they keep saying that, civilization was a little bit further back than what we thought. Oh no, actually it's a little bit further back. It's a little bit, keeps going back now. They're saying that, the civilization goes back, even I heard recently in Sumeru, which means what we call now Iraq, in that area where the rivers flow, Tigris and the other one, Euphrates. That land, they're saying the civilization was there 12,000 years ago. So they're going back further and further now. So they're getting closer to what we understand in the Bhagavatam, which is that the civilization went back millions of years. We are creationists, we're not evolutionists. We don't believe in evolution, we believe in creation. But not in the way the Bible speaks about creation. The Bible is very simplistic. On day one, God created, I can't remember what he created, but man and and then day 6, and then day 7 he was tired, so he had a rest, and that's why Sunday is the rest day. It's not like that. The way God created is he just glanced, and in his glance, everything just began to manifest, right, instantaneously. Right? It doesn't take 7 days, it just begins to manifest. All the universes come. That is his potency, he's omnipotent. So that is Krishna's power, his potency, his Vaibhav, his Shakti. So, for a Purana to be accepted as a Purana, it has to meet the criteria of having the discussion of the genealogical table, the Manus, the Manvantas. So the Bhagavatam here is going to go back millions of years and talk about the various Manus. Right? This was also done already back in Canto 3. The description was there. Swambhuv Manu was there, and the children are mentioned. Priyavrata, the different children are mentioned. Uttanapad, right? But now there's going to be another description throughout Canto 8, which will lead into Canto 9. And in Canto 9, we're going to hear about 2 dynasties, Chandravamsh and Suryavamsh, yeah. The genealogical table, or the descendants of the moon god and the sun god. This is one of the reasons I like to be a Hare Krishna, because we believe in the moon god and the sun god. We don't just believe the sun's a planet and the moon's an empty planet with dust on it. No, we believe there are gods there, and there is a civilization there. And there's a dynasty which comes down throughout the universe. So then in Canto 9 you'll hear about the Suryavamsh, which means you'll hear about the descendants of the sun god, which leads into the appearance of Lord Ramachandra, who appeared in the Suryavamsh. And then there's a description of the Chandravamsh, which means the descendants of the moon god, in which Lord Krishna appears. Lord Krishna is in the Chandravamsh. He's very cooling, like we call him Krishna Chandra, which means cooling like the moon. And also because he's actually within the Chandravamsh, he's actually within the dynasty. And actually, if you read chapter 29 of Canto 10, when he begins the Rasa Leela, right, the moon rises, and there's a reference to, because he's part of the moon dynasty, so the moon is coming to serve him by appearing full. In the spiritual world, the moon is full every day. When you go back to Goloka, one day we hope we go and live in Goloka Vrindavan, full moon every night. Well, it's like, what day is it? Oh, it's the Purnima. And then tomorrow, what day is it? Oh, it's Purnima. It's just like that every day, just comes up full all the time. Because when the moon is full, it makes it very beautiful for Krishna to perform his evening pastimes. His rasa dance and the pastimes in the forest. So the moon is full all the time. It's always very beautiful there. So that's what we're hearing about here. So now we're hearing about the Manvantars, the Manus. Now, the Manus are very important because they are the progenitors, Prajapati, the progenitors of mankind. We all come from these personalities. Our bodies are created by these great personalities, these Manus, who populated the universe on behalf of Lord Brahma. Now, Lord Brahma created them, ultimately on behalf of Krishna. Lord Brahma creates all these different Prajapatis, and then they populate the universe. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a body. And if you didn't have a body, you would have trouble. You would just be like a little jivatma just floating around, a little bit of light. And we just float into each other, and we go, What does mean? It means, do you want prasadam? And we say, yes. But you can't eat prasadam because you're just a bit of light, right? That's why we have body. That's why the body manifests. So you can fulfill your material desires. Why did you come to the material world? Because you're crazy. That's why we came to the material world. We wanted to be separate from Krishna. So Krishna said, okay, go, but I'll give you a material body. If you want independence, you come here to the material world, but I give you this form to fulfill your separate desires, your material desires, right? And now that's what we're trying to do. We're all running around in this material. It's very funny, actually. If you just go and, you can do a project. Today, if you're in the city, maybe you go in the city to do some preaching, just stand on the corner for a minute and just watch everyone running around, right? Sometimes I do this. I was in the city a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't been in there. I only go in there every 6 months or so. And I just stand there for a minute. I just watch everyone running. And then I think, what's everyone running for? It's like they're all trying to get to something important. But there's nothing actually important. If you stop someone and say, where are you going? What are you doing? And say, oh, I have to go and do this. It doesn't mean anything, right? In the grand scale of, creation and eternity and God's creation, it doesn't mean anything, right? No one takes it seriously. Just like Lord Brahma, for example, when Lord Brahma is looking down at the earth, right, he just sees all these crazy people just going, just like when we look down at a group of ants, right, you see the ants, and the ants are just going, for them it's serious. They're like, oh, get breakfast, get lunch, get dinner, fight this other ant. They all get very serious about the whole thing. But for us, we just think it's a group of ants. Right? What are they doing? Doesn't mean very much. So for Lord Brahma, he's also looking down at humanity, and they're all just going, just running around. He just thinks, what are they doing? It doesn't mean very much. Even like King Revata, right, went up to see Lord Brahma one time. He was looking for a son to marry his daughter. So he got up there. Brahmaloka. Do you know where Brahmaloka is? Brahmaloka is, where is it? It's up that way, northern part of the universe. So it's kind of that direction. You see the Milky Way, right? If you go like to the farm, our farm, Hare Krishna Valley, then you'll see, it's easier to see the Milky Way, right? The Milky Way is it looks like a cloudy kind of formation in the sky. It's actually the lotus stem coming from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. That stem, that's what it is. It's traveling up. It kind of goes off into the north. You can see it kind of heads out and then it kind of disappears. So that's where Lord Brahma is. He's up there on the top of that. There's all the different planetary systems, Jana, Tapa, Mahaloka, like all the different swaga, and then you go up. But then Lord Brahma's planet is a long way above everyone else. Like it's very, very, it's the top of the universe. So Lord Brahma is living up there. So King Revata, he went up there one time because he needed to find someone to marry his daughter. So he got up there, and when he got there, then the doorkeepers, the gatekeepers, or the servants of Lord Brahma, they said he will see you, but he'll just be a few minutes. He's watching a musical recital. Just give a couple of minutes, he'll be ready. So a couple of minutes passed, and then they took him in, and Lord Brahma said, "Oh, Revata." He said, "What have you come for?" He said, "I need someone to marry my daughter." And Lord Brahma, he smiled, and he looked down, and he said, "Since you've been here, 14 generations have passed on earth. Down there, everything just goes very quickly compared to up here. Different time frame in the universe. The universe operates on different time frames." So he looked down. He said, "Oh," he said, "everything's gone. Your dynasty's gone. It's been replaced 14 times. So we can find someone, but by the time you get there, it may not be so practical." So this material world, we're given these bodies to fulfill our material desires, but it's not a very significant thing. We should not take it so seriously. Don't take this world too seriously. As Srila Prabhupada said, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, they said, just do your business and get out. Right? Like when you go to the stoolhouse, you do your business, you get out. You don't spend your day there. There's nothing there. Right? Just do what you need to do and you go. So the material world is like this. Just come down, Albert Park, do your business, and then go back to Goloka. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said he expects all of his disciples, his followers, to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Right? So we should be aiming like that. We should be aiming to go back in this lifetime. That should be the meditation of the devotees. We should be focused. So we're hearing about these Prajapatis. And these Prajapatis, they populate the universe on behalf of Lord Brahma, on behalf of Krishna, so that we can all fulfill our material desires. We fell in this material world, right? Because we have material desires. We're given a body, and now we have this human form, which is advantageous. It's a very good form, actually. Why is it good? Right? Because it's not too good, but it's not too bad. Right? That's why Earth, this planet we're on, the planet of Bhumi, Devi, this planet, which is the demigods sometimes call it Mrityuloka or Marchaloka, it means the planet of death. It's not too bad here. The climate's good. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. It's like the perfect mix for self-realization. Right? It makes you serious about being a devotee because you suffer enough that you have an impetus to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, but it's not so bad because when you're suffering too much, you can't think of anything. Right? You're just absorbed in your pain and suffering. So it's the right balance. That's why Earth, it is said actually there are only 2 planets in the universe that you can go back to Godhead from. Right? One is Earth, and the other one is Brahma Loka. When Lord Brahma, if he's a devotee, when he transcends, then everyone with him, by his association, they also transcend. They go to the spiritual world. And also from this planet. So this planet is very special, and this human form is very special. Right? And if we get serious, we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Right? It's possible. We've seen many devotees. Our good friend Prana Prabhu, he went back to Godhead only a few months ago. Right? It's all possible. Right? That's the power of this situation. Jiva Goswami, he actually comments that Kali Yuga is also the best age of all the ages. So we're very fortunate. We're on the right planet at the right time. Kali Yuga is the best. Why is Kali Yuga good? Because in Kali Yuga, there's so much suffering, you have to become serious about Krishna consciousness. You have to. Because sometimes, when you're suffering, you really call out. Right? You really call out. like Draupadi, when Draupadi was such, she really called out to Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Krishna. So Kali Yuga is like that, right? Everything will become difficult, right? And if your life is not difficult yet, then just wait around, it will become. It will become. It goes in phases, it goes in waves. Like if you look back at your life, you'll see like times when it was difficult. Like it kind of goes through waves like that. So it will come again. If you're happy now, just wait. It will all finish. It's very pessimistic, isn't it? People come to the Hare Krishna temple and we say, just wait, you'll suffer. That's why not as many people come as they go to the other places. Because the other places just say, oh, it's all beautiful, everything will just be beautiful. The spiritual life is beautiful. We don't say that. Prabhupada said we should have a healthy pessimism. We should be pessimistic about this material world, but in a healthy way. Not in the crazy way, it's all bad. No, it's good as well, but it's a healthy, we understand it's not perfect. Only a fool thinks it is perfect in this world. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, from the highest planet in the material world to the lowest, all are places of suffering, wherein repeated birth and death take place. So this is the nature of this material world. We have to understand it. So the Manvantars, the Manus, we're hearing about them now, they create this material world. Right? Now it describes here in this verse that Swayambhuv Manu, he's actually the current Manu. He's our Manu. He's the current Manu. There's 14 Manus in a day of Brahma. Lord Brahma's day is so long that 14 Manus pass in his time. That's thousands and thousands of years. So Swayambhuv Manu, he goes to the forest with his wife to perform tapasya. That's interesting. Why does he go with his wife? Why does he go with his wife? All these things are significant. When you read any verse in the Bhagavatam, there's significance there. It's not insignificant. Why did he go with the wife? Which Varna is he in? No, that's ashram. Which Varna is he in? Kshatriya. Very good. Yeah, Kshatriya. He's Kshatriya. So, if you're a Shudra, there's 4 ashrams. Brahmachari, Grihasta, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. Sannyas, right? These are the 4 ashrams. Shudra only has 1 ashram. Which ashram does he have? Grihasta. Yeah. Shudras just Grihastas, right? They don't go to Gurukul. Shudras don't go to Gurukul, right? Only Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and Brahmanas go to Gurukul. So the Shudra, he's Grihasta whole life. He just stays at home, he learns whatever the family teaches, and then he does that. So if the family are goldsmiths, he learns how to be a goldsmith, and that's what he does. That's his occupation. Right? The family will learn like that. So Shudras are only Grihastas, they don't do anything else. And then you have Vaishyas. So Vaishyas only have 2 ashrams. They go to Gurukul, so they become brahmacharis, but then they become Grihastas, but that's it. They never take Vanaprastha, they never take sannyas. They just, Vaishyas are like that. Grihastas for the rest of the life. Then you have Kshatriya, like Swayambhuv Manu is Kshatriya. So they go to Gurukul, brahmachari, they get married, and then at the end, they become Vanaprastha. That's why he took his wife to the forest to do austerity, because they go together. Vanaprastha means they stay together. Like Sankarshan Prabhu and Vishnupriya, like Mataji, that Vanaprastha, like that. They stay together, the wife and husband stay together and they preach. Interesting actually, because His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who is in charge of the congregation ministry within ISKCON, Bhakti Vrikshas, and he's in charge. He's the spearhead, the inspiration. Jayapataka, Prabhupada gave him the name. Jayapataka means victory flag. Prabhupada actually said to Maharaj, you should have 50,000 disciples. Prabhupada said that to him. And now I heard it's like 60 plus or something. 70, must be 70 plus. So, yeah, so we're talking about 70 now, like that. And I heard Gopal Krishna Maharaj was 40 or 50? 40. Wow. I didn't realize it was so. I mean, this is powerful. Imagine having 40,000 disciples. Imagine having 70,000 disciples. It's like astronomical. You know, we can't even remember where we put our watch. Oh, where's my computer? Oh, what time is it? Oh, you know, oh, I forgot to have breakfast. Half the time we're just walking around dysfunctional. You know, there's devotees on the planet who have 70,000 disciples. You know, Jayapataka Swami is not even he's completely liberated. You know, you couldn't even be in his body and do what he does. You know, his body has been, you know, laborious to live within for like 15 years, and his momentum is unstoppable. You know, he's actually on the spiritual platform. Brahma Bhuta, Prasanatma, Na Sochiti, Na Kankshiti. Now, these are liberated personalities. You know, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was the same. You know, his body was not well for the last years of his life, but, you know, he was still doing just as much service. He actually resigned from his activities just a few days before he passed away from this world. He said, okay, that's it. The body's not working anymore. You know, but up until then, he just kept going. And Prabhupada was the same. You know, because Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, at some point the guru will go and do Nirjan Bhajan and just take a few disciples with him. And my Guru Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who was Prabhupada's secretary for most of 1977, he said he was waiting for Prabhupada to do that, but he never did it. Prabhupada just kept preaching to the very end, right? 2 days before Prabhupada left, he's still dictating Bhaktivedanta purports. 2 days before he left, right? Still dictating chapter 13 of the 10th canto. He never stopped, right? He never went and did Nirjan Bhajan. He just kept preaching to the very end, showing us the example. You can do Nirjan Bhajan, that's also part of our tradition. Bhaktivedanta Swami did it. He finished like that, but others preach all the way to the end. So both are glorious, whatever you can do. So, Jayapataka Swami, he actually said recently, because now they're seeing the need for more gurus in ISKCON. The GBC have said we need 10,000 gurus. How many do we have at the moment? I think it's about 150, something like that, around about 150 gurus. The GBC have said we need 10,000 gurus in ISKCON, right? So His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, he's actually saying that most of the gurus need to be grihastas and vanaprasthas. Right? They're going forward into the future. Most of them need to be. Primarily at the moment they're sannyasis. But there are disadvantages for the sannyas to be a guru because most of the disciples are grihastas. I went to my Guru Maharaj one time and he said to me, I told him something, some problem. He said, what are you telling me for? I'm a sannyasi. It's not my dharma to deal with grihastas' problems. Right? Go and speak to the grihastas. Right? He said, go and speak to Aniruddha Prabhu. He said, go and speak to the grihastas. Right? And he said, this is not sannyasi business. So Jayapataka Swami is saying that we need the grihastas and the vanaprasthas primarily. The sannyasis will be gurus, they're naturally gurus anyway, but we need many grihastas and vanaprasthas to become gurus. Because then most of the disciples are grihastas, so a grihasta guru understands grihasta problem. Right? He can give you the counseling. So then it's easier like that. So the vanaprastha, Swayambhuv Manu is vanaprastha. So he takes his wife to the forest. They go together. Because that is vanaprastha ashram. They stay together until the end and they assist each other in becoming self-realized, in becoming Krishna conscious. You see back in Canto 1 also when Dhritarashtra went to the forest, right? Gandhari went with him, right? And then when he passed, right? Then she did sati, she enters the fire. I've discussed this with my wife. Will you enter the fire? When I pass, will you also enter? He said, no, I'm not going to enter the fire. You're on your own at that point. I'll light the fire, but I'm not going to jump in afterwards. So these days are gone. These days are gone, like that. You know, I mean, who can do sati? Would you jump in a fire? You know, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, if my wife passed away, I don't think I'd jump in the fire. You know, I don't think I would do that. But in the previous age, they actually did this. You know, imagine the caliber of the people. You know, Gandhari was so powerful. She found out she's going to marry Dhritarashtra, right? Who was the heir of the Kuru dynasty. Right? So she's going to marry Dhritarashtra. She found out, her father comes and said, we're going to marry you to Dhritarashtra. Everyone knew who he was. Right? He's the heir of the Kuru dynasty. You're going to marry Dhritarashtra. She said, okay. She picks up a piece of cloth, wraps her eyes, and never saw her again. Imagine doing that. Now, who does that? Or would you do that for your husband? Your husband's blind, so I'm going to wrap my eyes so that he doesn't feel that I am superior to him. You know, these are the kind of people that lived on the earth previously. You know, they would walk into fire, and then she walks into the fire at the end. Like, we can't even imagine being like this. All right? It's another level of humanity. It's called the Aryan civilization. Right? It's a very advanced spiritual civilization, different to what we have now. Right? So, because she was Kshatriya, because they were Kshatriya, then they went to the forest together. That's why it says here in the verse that they both went. So the Brahmanas, they can go through all 4 ashrams. They become brahmacharis. They can, if they want, become grihastas, vanaprasthas, and they can also take sannyas. Or a brahmana can go directly from brahmacharya life straight to sannyas life. That's also possible. If the brahmachari is going to go from brahmachari straight to sannyas, he has to be situated in sattva gun, right? It has to be in the mode of goodness. Because if there's some passion there, then you have to go through grihasta life. Right? That's why we go through grihasta life. Grihasta life means you're affected by the lower modes of nature. Right? But if you're unaffected by the lower modes of nature, you can go straight from brahmacharya to sannyas life. Right? Even in ISKCON we see it. Like His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami. Right? He's so mode of goodness, he reminds me of a cow or a bull. You know, because cows and bulls are in the mode of goodness. And Maharaj is like that. He's so in the mode of goodness, he didn't need to go through grihasta life. He just straight past it. Because sattva guna is so prominent in the consciousness. So if you're going to skip grihasta life, you have to be situated in sattva. You know, because, you know, most people in Kali Yuga are mixed. You know, we're all mixed, but, you know, mixed with passion and ignorance. Goodness is there. But, you know, if passion, then you have to go through grihasta life, because that's the passion ashram, that's Rajagun ashram. But some of the brahmanas, they're so in the mode of goodness, they can just go past it. They go straight to sannyas. So, he was performing tapasya within this world. And actually, if you go through the Bhagavatam, we have the same system all the way through the Bhagavatam. Right? If you go back to Canto 2, Lord Brahma finds himself, he was the first person in the universe, he finds himself sitting on a lotus flower. Right? Swayambhu, self-manifest. Right? Suddenly he's there. Right? So he begins in ignorance, avidya. Rupa Goswami explains this in the Nectar of Devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Everyone begins in ignorance, avidya. Right? From avidya, you have to perform tapasya. You see in the second canto, Lord Brahma hears the sound, tapa, and does tapasya. So we begin in ignorance, then we perform tapasya, and then what happens? We attain enlightenment. Krishna, which is what happened to Lord Brahma. If you look in Brahma, Samhita, or Bhagavatam, that's what took place. So Swayambhuva Manu is doing the same thing. Born in ignorance, performs tapasya, becomes enlightened, becomes Krishna conscious. So it's the same for everyone. So they're teaching us, Lord Brahma, the Prajapatis, Manu, they're teaching us how to become self-realized. We're all born in ignorance, and then we got a book, one of those dangerous books that you started to read, and then it ruined your life. Bhagavad Gita and all these books. I got one book called Coming Back. My grandmother had it on her shelf. I took it, I read it, and that's it, derailed. My life was going one way, and then suddenly, like, next minute I'm shaved my head, wearing these, bed sheets, and walking around the streets. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That wasn't the plan. No, that wasn't the plan. And my grandmother said to me, I wish you never read that book. Prabhupada said, time bombs. Just sitting on someone's shelf, right? You pick it up, then blows up your whole life, right? And then your whole life goes off into another direction. I didn't plan for this. This wasn't what I was planning for, but then now it's like this. Too far gone now to go back. So you have to say goodbye to the material world. So that's what these books do. We're born in ignorance. They teach us to perform austerity, tapo divyam, as Bhagavatam says. You have to perform tapasya, right? Why? To become enlightened. Brahma sokyam, which is the goal. Shuddha sattvam, to reach the platform of pure goodness. So that's what we're being taught here, the 8th canto. Swayambhuva Manu is being mentioned, right? Born in ignorance, performs austerity, then becomes enlightened. Right? This is the example. That's why we hear Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, to teach us that's what we should be doing with our life. Does anyone have any questions or comments on anything that we discuss? Transcend the microphone key.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you were talking about Swayambhuva Manu, how he's the Manu for our thing. So Prabhu, are the Manus like incarnations of the Lord? Do they still exist? Which means basically, is there a Swayambhuva Manu on a different planet?
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean the incarnations of the Lord?
Yeah, like, our Lord Krishna, he's performing his pastimes in every other planet.
Not in this universe. Krishna's gone to another universe. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the question? I'm trying to...
Are there like the Manus on different planets also, like taking care of the universe?
Manu is a position. They must live in Swaga somewhere. There's higher planets in the universe. They're always there. And they populate the universe and they kind of oversee things. Yeah, they're always there. So they're there right now. Many people are there right now. Even on Earth, if you go to Bhadrakashram in the Himalayas, have you been there? No? So if you walk up there, Vyasadeva is still living there. So you can go and meet him. Go and hear Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva. But you have to have the eyes to see him, that's the point. He's there, but you have to have the eyes. Some of these personalities are still here. They're still on the earth. And like Prahlad Maharaj, he's on a higher planet, he's still here. Swayambhuva Manu is still there. They're all still existing, but they're on different planets. But Krishna, who was here 5,000 years ago, and Lord Chaitanya, they've gone to another universe. They're not in this universe anymore. Does that make sense? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and my other question was, you were mentioning how in the 9th canto, Lord Ramachandra appears in the Surya Vansh and Lord Krishna appears in the Chandra Vansh. So I've also heard, is Mother Sita also like a part of the Chandra Vansh, the lunar dynasty?
Sita Devi. Do you know Gopa? Do you know Sita Devi, where she's from? Is it? Sita Devi, wife of Lord Ram. Yeah, Chandra Vansh or Surya Vansh. I haven't heard. Not sure. Maybe ask Swami. He knows. many things. So, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. So,
Thank you.
probably Suryavamsa, I would think, but I'm not sure. Not sure. Any other questions? Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki.